So guys, आज का हमारा कंसर्न रहेगा क्या? Like we are trying to integrate Active Directory server with this Palo Alto. As well, we are trying to authenticate our remote users from this Active Directory. Means we have to use centralized database of Active Directory. Like user will connect from outside and it do use the database of Active Directory. So first step is to integrate Active Directory server with this Palo Alto. So it means like we have to just complete the integration part first, then we can move on any other task. So guys, whenever you do try to integrate any server, any Active Directory server with your Palo Alto firewall, so there is two possibilities. Like one we call like agentless, next we call agent based. One second. So guys, we have like two methods. आपके पास दो methods हैं, agentless and agent based. So here we are going to use agentless. Agentless हम करने जा रहे हैं. So first आपको एक यूजर डिसाइड करना है कौन सा यूजर रहेगा. ये माइक्रोसॉफ्ट सर्वर है, एडी सर्वर. सो कोई एक यूजर बना लो जो कि आपके यहाँ पर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर को लॉगिन कराएगा. एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर यूजर मैं यूज करूंगा. पासवर्ड आई एम गोइंग टू यूज एडमिन 123456 लेट्स से. इसी से मैं इंटीग्रेट कराऊंगा. इन प्रोडक्शन नेटवर्क इट कैन बी लाइक डिफरेंट. आप कोई और यूजर भी ले सकते हो. अब देखो यहाँ पर आओ, लॉग इन करो एडी के अंदर. एंड फॉर टेस्ट पर्पज वी आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट टेस्ट यूजर्स ऑल्सो. सो आपके पास यहाँ पर टेस्ट यूजर्स भी हैं. टेस्ट 1, टेस्ट 2, टेस्ट 3, टेस्ट 4, एडी यूजर डेटाबेस. फॉर टेस्ट पर्पज. So these users I'm going to create on my Active Directory server. And after like configuration, we just have to authenticate with these users. So again, come to here on Active Directory server and try to log in here. It do ask about password change. So you just have to change the password. Now it's
सर एक बार रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन करना.
456.
हेलो.
Yes, yes.
ठीक है, थैंक्स
It's
सर.
permitted. So now we just have to change the IP address first. And guys, we also have to ping with domain name. Domain name is 7network.com. So after changing IP address, all these verification we have to do. Now it's time to create user. So to create user here, you just have to come here, tool, Active Directory users, users. Here we can create users. So let's say my username is test1, and then after you have to select the password 123-ASD. That's my password, and say next. After user, the same thing you can do from CLI as well, because it's take lots of time to configure users, to create users. from GUI, you can just do create with the help of command line also. So run the command net space user space username, and after then password, then say /add. See, user configuration, it's become quite simple. Like you just have to change the name and it's creating multiple users, 4, 5. Why I'm creating all these users? Because once to integrate, so we just have to verify these users must be show on your firewall. Say I'm creating 10 users. That's all. After then, once you just refresh here, so here also it will show. See user 1, 2, 3, all users showing here, and the admin user, we have to just allow to fetch the Active Directory database from outside. So for that, we just have to perform some changes here in WMI, WMI mgmt.msc. That is Windows instrumentation tool, Windows management instrumentation, which actually allow to users uh, to get or to just fetch information from your Active Directory. So now select properties, securities, WMI local properties, and under security, you have to permit your user, which is going to integrate with firewall, means which is going to authenticate with firewall. So under this, you have to come SIMv2 and select security. See guys, if you're working in a company, so all these tasks actually done by your firewall team. Sorry, your Windows server team. But as of now, for practical purpose, we just have to perform all these things simultaneously. So after like permission, you just have to upload your policy. You just have to update your policy, not upload. So net space gp update /force. So now your policy get updated. So this is all about your server task, like server configuration task. Now come to here on Palo-ALTO Active Directory. Now come to here on Palo-ALTO, and uh, first we have to configure the IP address, which is 50.10.50.50.1 on my interface, which is 1/4, and that's part of DMZ. So come to here and select interface 1/4, and this is my layer 3 interface default, and create another zone, which is DMZ server zone. Say OK, and then configure IP address 10.50.50.1/24, and now say OK. After this configuration, you also have to make sure like the interface which is going to connect your Active Directory server, from that interface AD service should be enabled from your firewall. So in order to enable a particular service from Palo-ALTO, you have to select service route configuration option, because by default Palo-ALTO allow all services from management interface. So in order to allow Active Directory service from 1 by 4, we have to configure service route. Otherwise, it will not gonna connect. So in order to configure, you have to come here and select service route option, setup, service route configuration, customize, and select LDAP service, lightweight directory access services. Whenever you do integrate any AD server, so Active Directory server comes under LDAP. LDAP uses 389 port number. In case of SLDAP or secure LDAP you are using, so that is 636 port number. So select 1 by 4 and allow LDAP service from this interface. Service route configuration, that is important. After then you have to say okay. Now guys, next step, you have to come here and select LDAP integration. Yeah, LDAP, select add, LDAP server, and then IP address, my server, IP address of server, that is 10.50.50.10. See, it's selected port number, which is 389. When you configure service route, so it do allow firewall will do allow to listen on particular interface for 389. If you do not perform service route, so it doesn't allow listening on 389. So here select Active Directory base DN. DN is distinguished name. So my base DN is DC is equal to 7 network, comma DC is equal to com. Because my domain name is 7network.com. And bind DN. Bind DN means from which user I'm trying to bind this Active Directory, from which user I'm trying to integrate. So you just have to write everything in form of LDAP. So CN is equal to administrator, comma DC is equal to CN is equal to users, because administrator is also part of user directory. After then DC is equal to 7 network, then comma again DC is equal to com. So this is your bind DN information. After then you have to mention the correct password, admin at 123456. Admin at 123456. We are not going to use SSL TLS, so just uncheck and say okay. After LDAP integration part, you have to come here, authentication profile, create AD authentication profile, and select LDAP. It is asking about the profile name, LDAP server. Login attribute, you can left it. After then 7network.com. See here again, option for additional two-factor or OTP based authentication, but we don't have OTP or authentication server. Here we can say allow all and account lockout. So let's say if someone tried 3 failed attempts, so it should be locked for 10 minutes, or let's say 5. Then say okay. After authentication profile, there is another step, user identification. Now come here and user or identification, and select server monitoring. Create one profile for monitoring, mon1, and here mention IP address 10.10.10.10.50.50.10. Here you can mention the name as well, LDAP, DNS name or FQDN name you can also mention. After then, guys, we have to select this option, which is user mapping. See, the first option again asking about WMI authentication, Windows Management Instrumentation. So there under WMI, we allow administrator. So username should be match and password should be match here. So I'm mentioning here administrator /. Domain name, and after then username, and after then you can mention the password. Server monitor probing already enabled. Client probing, cache, enable user identification timeout. So it do maintain the cache record. Allow matching username without domains. Yeah, it's also we can allow. NTML we are not using, redistribution we are not using, syslog filter we are not using, ignore list we are not using here. So say okay. After then, if you are using like user IG agent, so here we can do use the serial number of agent as well host port and IP. But we are not using, so just left this option. Terminal service agent we are not using, group mapping. And that is the option which we have to configure. So say map group 1 and again call server profile, user domain which is 7network.com, update interval let's say 60 seconds. User group, these settings should be default one, and now say okay. So guys, like these are the steps to configure LDAP integration with your server, with your Active Directory, LDAP integration with your Palo-ALTO. See, once we done configuration, so how we do verify it? Let's say you are trying to check the log for LDAP. So here you can check under system, connect LDAP server initiated by 10.50.50.1 from the port and destination address is 10.50.50.10, port number 389. And it says connected to server, means our connection succeeded. Come to here under user identification, select group mapping settings and come here and click on here. See, your whole Active Directory database is showing here, like user, system data, domain controllers, computers, everything. Guys, here we just have to use the user only. So click on here and select the user part. Domain users, computers. So first select domain user, which we have to for policy configuration. Computers, yeah, that is quite enough. Like if you come here now, see, if you select any policy, like if you do try to allow or deny your policies, under user column, all users are showing. We just created 10 users. So if you click on user tab and select test, So it will show all users 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can configure user-based policies. So guys, that's first part of practical. We integrated this Microsoft server with this Active Directory. Now we have to perform a few other changes, which is we have to authenticate our GlobalProtect user from Active Directory. Again, we have to perform certain changes. So the last GlobalProtect configuration which we done, there we have to perform changes. See, we have two authentication profile. First is your local, next is your LDAP. So we just have to change the authentication profile. The last profile which we created, which we done, that is GP authentication profile. But new one is Active Directory authentication profile. But I'm going to create another profile, and GP Active Directory profile. LDAP server is already integrated, and you can select the users like to whom you want to allow. So I'm saying like I want to allow as of now all, so everyone can do authenticate attempts 4 and lockout 5 minutes. And authentication sequence you can also create my sequence. So whenever it do try to perform authentication, so first it matches Active Directory profile for authentication. After doing all these things, we just have to replace our profile, our normal profile, which we done in last session, which is GP authentication profile, with this GP Active Directory profile. So come to here, GlobalProtect portal, test portal and authentication profile. Now replace GP Active Directory profile, or you can call your sequence, my sequence. So yours accordingly, like based on sequence, it do check. Here also we have to replace remove this, no use. And click on gateway. Guys, after configuration, We just have to commit. So now it's showing configuration committed successfully. Now come to here and try integration. This is my actually client machine. So come on here on client machine and try to log in with test users. Now here first we just have to check the internet connection. There must be internet connection as per the last configuration, because this is my outside user and coming from outside and trying to hit my gateway. It's fine. Now come here and say show panel and say connect. See, it is asking about the username and password. So I'm mentioning now here test 123 hyphen ASD. That's my Active Directory user. Let's see, does it connect or not? See, it gets successfully connected. Welcome to GlobalProtect. So we done two part. First is your Active Directory integration. Next part we done user authentication and user login test with this Active Directory user from remote place. So we just done two things here. Now if I do send any traffic to my LAN segment, so it should be allowed. So my LAN segment is 10.1.1.2, the router. So you just have to come here and say 10.1.1.1.2. Yeah, see, my VPN is also working. If I do generate any log, so user information also must be here in my session log. See, it is showing test 1. Test 1 is the user which is trying to send data from outside GlobalProtect. So guys, the last setup which we done, that is full tunnel. So if I do send any traffic from my remote machine, so it always become on my gateway, because our tunnel establishment is full tunnel. I already like explain about GlobalProtect tunnels. So either we can configure split tunnel. A split tunnel will allow only corporate traffic will come here, rest traffic will go directly on internet, but as per the last configuration, it is running full tunnel. So full tunnel traffic, like every traffic will go here on my firewall, either it's internet traffic or normal traffic. So see, even if I do try to browse anything, so for that we also check the log. So we have global protect zone traffic, because we created separate zone for global protect, and the pool IP is 10.100.100.10. Destination address is this. All trusted global protect users allow over tunnel interface 50. That's my global protect tunnel interface. See, for testing purpose, I'm trying to use Facebook here. So all VPN traffic will come here. And if you do check my adapter, so I can do verify my traffic. So my global protect IP is 10.10.10.10.100.100.100.10. So all traffic coming to tunnel as well, we can verify it from session command as well. See, admin, login here, admin, admin. So I'm trying to filter session for 10.10.10.100. So so guys, for today, first for today's task, we almost done. Today's lab we completed. In next session, we'll do the next part. Like we'll do allow global product user to connect our next site over tunnel. We already have a practical which is based on tunnel. So there is already tunnel from PA1 to PA2. Over tunnel, we can move traffic of global protect user to this LAN also. Like this user can connect with head office LANs as well, branch office LAN over tunnel. So we can move tunnel to tunnel traffic as well. See, if I do show you log here, so it will clearly mention. So session all, I'm trying to filter my session. Show session all, filter source 10.100.100.10. So see, it is showing like browsing traffic as well other traffic also. So let me just again open the Facebook. So it will clearly shows like user traffic will coming on your firewall. It is moving like that. First it is going to here on your GlobalProtect gateway, and then it comes to here on internet cloud. So this is the flow of your traffic. So session all filter traffic for Facebook. So session all filter Facebook. So we can verify like which user is trying to use the Facebook. Let me just open again. DNS queue undecided NS. Okay, let's just check some random sessions. So session ID 842. So guys, you can check it here. User is coming from GlobalProtect and user is test, and your Active Directory domain name is 7 network, and it goes to internet zone, which is my WAN zone, and which policy allowed GlobalProtect internet rule. NAT rule is also applied here. Egress interface is tunnel 1 by 3, and ingress interface is tunnel 50.